Hey guys, so there's an expression out there that says it takes money to make money, but does it really take a lot of money to make money? In most cases, yes, it does. But in this particular case, $300 turned into $20,000 in 1 hour, and that's US. And it happens on a weekly basis. And a lot of people don't know about this. So in the cryptocurrency course that we released last week, I taught a bunch of you how to make money in the cryptocurrency world and how it wasn't all about Bitcoin. Well, there's a ton of ways of earning money in that space, and I want to take just a few minutes and share with you what happened this morning. So $300 turned into $20,000, and this at all isn't to brag, but instead, it's to show you how you can have a chance of doing the same thing, since these types of things are happening on a weekly basis, multiple times this week, in fact. So again, the sooner you kind of get involved, the sooner you learn about this stuff, then the easier and more likely you're going to be able to participate in these types of things. So if you want to go from knowing nothing to buying and selling different digital currencies and understanding what really drives this market, go ahead and go take that 3-hour course on the website. It's worth it. And if you don't, it's going to be kind of difficult to understand what I'm about to show you. So again, this is what happened this morning. So this whole thing starts with a company called Polkastarter. Now, Polkastarter is a crypto platform that enables different crypto projects to launch. I want you to think of it like Kickstarter, which helps raise funds for small companies through crowdfunding. But Polkastarter does it specifically for crypto projects. So what's the difference between a company and a crypto project? Not much, really, except that a crypto project uses some sort of blockchain technology as part of its service or product. So anyway, Polkastarter is relatively new. The project started less than 4 months ago, and it was valued at only a few cents. And it's now trading at $4.80 after the recent Bitcoin dump. But again, it was trading around $8 just last week. In short, this project's built on the Polkadot blockchain. And for those of you who don't know, Polkadot is like a 4th generation crypto. If Bitcoin was generation 1, and then Ethereum with its smart contracts were number 2, you can say Cardano is number 3, but Polkadot with its interoperability and so on and so forth is pretty much a 4th generation crypto. Anyway, Polkadot has a really bright future in front of it, especially in the crypto space, and it's trading around $35 right now. So Polkadot is at $35. Polkastarter, which is built on the Polkadot network, is worth $4.80, and it's basically the Kickstarter for new crypto projects. So far, so good. Now, there are projects listed on Polkastarter, like the ones here. Now, each project has different criteria for you to be able to participate. Now, what's interesting as a concept is just because you want to buy into a company doesn't mean that you get to. Same thing when it comes to the Uber or the Lyft IPO, right? The stock offering, the initial public offering. Just because you wanted to buy in the company really, really early didn't mean that you got to do that. In fact, most of the giant institutions and whatnot, they're able to get into these projects earlier on and first before anybody else from the public get to do that. And that's completely legal. That exists. So things like Polkastarter are trying to make things more accessible and fair for smaller investors and other people, right? So people with not just billions of dollars in their pocket, but in this particular case, somebody with $300 to spare, and give them an opportunity to participate in a project that has a bright future. So this entire process of qualifying for different projects, it's really easy. Most of these projects require you to retweet something. So you go on the official Twitter channel of the company tweeting. So in this case, it was Polkamarkets. And I would go retweet the pinned post at the top, maybe hashtag a few different things. And that's pretty much it. Join a couple Telegram groups, and the whole process took maybe 5 minutes to apply. So that really wasn't the hard part, right? So the whole whitelisting process for these different projects, whether you're applying for 5 projects, all projects, it takes maybe 5 minutes to make sure that you're doing it right. Now, again, if you mess up any of these sections, if you don't retweet things properly, if you hold the wrong kind of wallet or anything like that, you won't qualify, right? It's almost like when you're applying for a job and there are typos in your resume. If you don't take your due diligence and write your things properly, it's highly unlikely that the company's going to hire you. Well, in this particular case, it's the same thing. If you have simple instructions to say retweet this, do that, and you mess that up, they're not going to pick you for the project because there are plenty of other people who have done it properly. So just keep that in mind. Now, the more difficult part comes in how you actually qualify. So applying for the whitelist is pretty simple, right? Like we talked about, retweet, join a couple groups, and you're done. But 2 of the major criterias are either that you have to hold 3,000 Polkastarter tokens or provide liquidity. Now, I understand not everybody can afford $15,000 to buy 3,000 Pulse tokens because that's how much it would cost right now. The current price is roughly $5 per token. At first, it was fine, right? When it was a few pennies per token, no big deal. But now that the popularity of the platform is growing, everything, the demand for it is growing, so on and so forth, you're seeing the token reach prices of $5, $6, $7, $8. So really, if the price was $10 per token, finding 3,000 would be, you guessed it, $30,000. So not everybody can do that, and I understand that. So if you can, that is one way of doing it, is simply to buy 3,000 tokens at whatever price it is, hold those for 7 days, and you'll be qualified to be able to join this whitelist, or at least to apply for it. The other method, if you don't have that kind of cash to be able to drop on Pulse tokens, you can provide liquidity. Now, providing liquidity is a little bit outside the scope of this particular lesson, but that is one option. So if you can't buy the 3,000 tokens and you still want to participate, go look up how to provide liquidity for the Polkastarter liquidity pools. So long story short, I already own 3,000 tokens, and I have for quite some time. Originally, I invested in Polkastarter because I believe in the project and what it's doing. I didn't really plan on investing in any of the projects on the platform. But I figured I already own the 3,000 tokens or more, and I said that if it costs nothing to attempt to try to participate in these, then I may as well try to do that, especially if it's only going to cost me, say, something around $300 that I'd have to invest to potentially make a large amount of return. So I already had the tokens, plan on holding them, said, why not? Let's go ahead and participate and see if we can actually pull through. I got lucky and I got selected for one of the projects and figured I'd make a lesson on how to actually participate to help people out. So that's what this is all about. Now, it's worth noting that I tried to participate in 3 different projects. It's not like I went to the website, I applied for the first one, in this case, Polkamarkets, and I was immediately accepted. I tried for 2 other projects, and I never heard anything back. So again, it is a lottery type of system, but way better odds than given the lottery. I've purchased a lot of lottery tickets, and I've never won anything. And in this particular case, this is the 3rd time that I apply for the lottery in, let's say, 2 or 3 days, and I'm selected for this participation or this block. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of the odds. And hundreds of other people obviously are also selected. It's not, while crypto is essentially becoming mainstream and being popularized, it's still really, really early days to be able to participate in these things. So keep that in mind. So the Polkamarkets one, which I won the lottery for, was launching this morning. So the IDO went live at 8 a.m. this morning, and I tried to track everything down via video. So I did the screen capture thing to try to see exactly what was happening. It's actually quite good because you can see the tech issues I was having. Sometimes the wallets weren't syncing. I was trying to click on buy, nothing would happen. I had to switch back over to my phone. So I took a few screenshots to try to capture everything. But at the end of the day, the return was obviously quite worth it. It wasn't that big of a deal. At any one point, I was risking $300. Not a huge concern in this particular case. And yeah, that's it. So go ahead and take a look at the video. I'll try to explain as I'm going through and kind of explain and reiterate the steps that I took to participate in this. And then you'll be able to see a little bit and get a feel for the whole process and how it happened and so on and so forth. So here are the steps. At first, just like we mentioned, I bought 3,000 Pulse tokens through the Huobi exchange just a few weeks ago. Now, like we cover in the crypto course, not every crypto is available on every exchange. So if you open an account with Kraken, you'll definitely will not have access to the Polkastarter token. In fact, you can open the account with Binance, and Binance is known to have pretty much every currency, and it's not going to be listed on Binance either. So this is ultra new. So you need to go hit the exchanges that are really, really, really new. In this particular case, you've got 2 main choices. Uniswap is a decentralized exchange, which is growing in popularity, and that's one of the places where you could buy it or exchange it for your Ether. And the other one is Huobi. So I used Huobi just because I had an account with them, didn't have any issues. I went to the website, I traded US dollars or USDT for a little bit more than 3,000 POLS. Bought them immediately. I do not like to keep my cryptocurrencies on the exchange, so I took them out and transferred them to my Trust wallet, which is kept on my phone. And that whole process maybe took, call it 10 minutes. So not a big deal. Now, a week ago, I was notified that there was a new project called Polkamarkets that was going to be listed on Polkastarter. And how did I find out about this? Because on their homepage, so the Polkastarter, remember the Kickstarter platform, it has a little section at the top that essentially lets you know and notifies you when there are new projects being released. So you don't have to check every 5 minutes. It'll let you know when a new project is coming out, and then you can start participating in whitelisting and so on and so forth. So I received a notification because, again, I subscribed to it. As easy as that. So I clicked on the project. I said, yeah, why not? I want to participate. I retweeted their post, joined the Polkastarter Telegram group, joined the Polkamarkets Telegram group, retweeted their post. I don't even have any followers on Twitter. Not really. I'm basically a Twitter loser. I have nothing on there. I tweeted my ex-girlfriend on there and one of her best friends as well. So just to give you an idea that a lot of people believe that they need to be huge Instagram sensations or YouTube followers that have to be in the hundreds of thousands to be able to qualify for them. I'm proof that you do not need a massive following to be able to win at these lotteries. So keep that in mind. So I went through the process, pretty easy, like I said, about 5 minutes to go through that. And what's interesting is that you can actually track a lot of the discussions on the group, so the Telegram group. You'll see people saying, hey, I was selected, thank God, I'm lucky, I'm fortunate. And then as the time goes by, you realize you didn't receive an email saying that you were a lottery winner or whitelisted. And then you come to the realization that, I did not win. And then what a lot of people think is that, this thing is a scam. It only went to big YouTube influencers and so on and so forth. And just like the reasons I said earlier. But again, that was it. I said, okay, not a big deal. I didn't win. Move on with life. Then a few days went by, and then I received an email saying, hey, you've been selected because people weren't able to complete the verification process. So once you are selected and you are a lottery winner, then that's when they essentially ask you to do KYC, or know your client verification process. This is part of AML. It's essentially sending in your passport just to make sure that you are a person, you're not a bot. And again, for regulatory requirements, especially in the US, long story short, you just got to go through the verification process. Same thing as you would when you're opening a broker account with a CFD provider, or Forex exchange, or anything like that. So again, being familiar with that process, that took no time. Sent in the passport, no big deal. They gave me 4 hours to be able to do it. If I wasn't able to do it within 4 hours, they would give my spot away to someone else. Did it within 10 minutes, no issues. Maybe an hour later, I received an email saying, congratulations, your address has been whitelisted in the emails that you've seen. And I can basically participate. And that's how that whole process kind of went down. So I didn't win the first time, but somebody backed out, couldn't do the verification process. They went down the list. They said, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's give it to this guy, Ben. He won. And then let's let him do the process. So this morning, I was sitting in front of my computer promptly at 7:45 in the morning, and I was waiting for the countdown to reach 0 at specifically 8 a.m. so I can quickly transfer $300. In this case, is $300 worth of Ethereum, or in units, it would be 0.2 Ethereum worth of money, right? So that's the maximum allocation I can do. You can't transfer $10,000. You can't do anything. Again, it's made for people to give them a chance. So $300 is the max that you can participate. So transfer $300 worth of Ethereum. It took a little bit of time to go through. So at 8 a.m. it came around. I tried to submit it the first time. It didn't work. I tried a second time. I got a cancellation. Again, tried a couple times and I couldn't get it through. But the third time, it went through. So as soon as it went through, that essentially means that they took my Ethereum, or my $300 worth, and they've allocated the equivalent worth of Polkamarkets tokens, which in this case worked out to about 10,400 tokens. And that's it. So the whole process took maybe 3 minutes. I know it said 3 times, but it took about 3 minutes to submit that 3 times, go through the process, switch back and forth from the website to my phone and try to submit it. And that was it. And that entire IDO process, or so Initial Decentralized Offering, or IDO, it took about 10 minutes for them to sell out of everything. So they had a fundraising goal, and that goal sold out within 10 minutes. And this is really, really common because these things are so oversubscribed. There's so much hype on these projects. People are so excited. They're literally lining up to give people money to be able to get into these projects because the return potential is so great. A week or 2 weeks down the road, right? You can get in at a few cents, and then not even a week later, it's already at $1 or $2. So that's why it's kind of like winning the lottery, right? When you get selected for that. So part of this particular whitelist process, at 8 a.m., you got to buy the tokens, but at 10 a.m., it opened up to the general public. So anybody who didn't win this lottery or whatnot would be able to buy some of these tokens, right? So Uniswap was the exchange that they used, but the catch is that I could not sell my tokens until 11 a.m. So I bought mine at 8 a.m., At 10 a.m., it opened to the general public to be able to buy additional tokens, right? And then I had to wait until 11 a.m. so that I could potentially sell my tokens if I wanted to sell them, right? So you can see from the video, I'm waiting. I tried to sell them on the website. It didn't work. So I switched over to my phone, and it obviously worked through the phone. And then you can see the balance change on my desktop here. So that was pretty much the whole process. At that point, you can see that I was able to sell 10,400 POLK tokens, or Polkamarkets tokens, for about 13 Ethereum. And Ethereum is worth around $1,600 at the time. So $1,600, multiply that by 13 Ethereum, works out to over $20,000. And I only had about 1.3, 1.4 Ethereums to start with. So that return is about $20,000 for a $300 investment. And that's where this basically 7,000% growth comes from, right? Absolutely mental when you come to think about it. And these things happen on a weekly basis. If you just take a look at the homepage on the website, you can see all these projects coming out. Well, these projects have a huge amount of hype. A lot of people are interested in participating in these projects. A lot of people are whitelisting these projects. Even if they don't get into the lottery, they're still planning on buying these projects because they're solid projects that the Polkastarter team, so the governance team, actually allow to go and be listed on their platform. So there's a lot of things involved in this whole thing, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of the process of how to do that. So even right now, I didn't sell the Ethereum. I'm still holding the Ethereum. I think it's worth roughly $1,650 right now. I got a $50 appreciation per ETH. Multiply that by 16 or 13 tokens. It gives you another X amount of return on that. And that's pretty much it. So you'll notice from the Telegram group that things got a bit heated during the whole process. You can see tons of people coming in, swearing, sending memes, that's really part of that space, right? It's a really nascent space. It's really new. And there's a lot of, there's a lot of amateur traders. There's a lot of professional traders. There's a lot of people who have been around crypto a long time, and some people who just joined the crypto space. So these groups, mainly Telegram, Discord, that's really the medium to kind of communicate between traders and different people that are kind of new to the space. A lot of these crypto projects use Telegram and Discord to be able to communicate updates and announcements, essentially, things that are coming out. Spamming and scams is a huge thing. The anonymity of crypto in general makes it really easy for people to get scammed. So there's always these warnings and saying, this is a scam, that's a scam, this is a scam. So just obviously get your sources from the proper channel, get your sources from the proper people, and make sure you kind of don't fall prey to that, and just keep it focused, really. So decentralized finance is booming. And again, this IDO concept, or Initial Decentralized Offering, it's no more than a few months old. In fact, back in 2017, it was called an ICO, or Initial Coin Offering. Things were going like mental. Companies like EOS raised over $4 billion. That's $1 billion, not millions. $4 billion in a span of about a year to raise money in terms of a crowdfund. The whole thing kind of blew up, obviously. The SEC got involved, the US got involved, things were just mayhem, and then it caused this giant bear market for a couple of years, and now we're back to where we are today. But nowadays, it's decentralized finance, and that's what's booming. And decentralized finance is not just about things like this, where it's crowdfunding, but the concept of borrowing, the concept of lending, the concept of staking and earning dividend-like returns in three-figure. So when we're talking about earning a dividend of 8% on companies like Enbridge or TD Bank and so on and so forth, that's actually really good. Well, you can earn the same type of returns, paid out in crypto, of course, which you can then be converted to US dollars at like 90%, 80%. Liquidity pools can go up to 300, 400%, and if even more. Again, there's your own risks involved in doing that. You got to look that up. You got to be educated a little bit on that subject and take the time to learn about it. But it's just to say that these returns are mental, and people are doing this every day. We're doing it every day. It's a thing that exists for real. We can essentially look at Bitcoin and balk a little bit at it, or you can take a look at it and say, you know what, maybe I should start paying attention to this. It's obviously doing something because it was worth nothing, and now it's worth over 50,000 US dollars per coin. So do I want to wait till it's worth 100,000? Will it worth 100,000? Again, it's not financial advice by any means. None of this is. It's just to kind of bring this to your attention in terms of general knowledge, get familiar with the concept. If you need a little bit of help through this, or if you want a new subject to study during this pandemic, go ahead, have at it. And we do these courses all the time anyway, but this, I just wanted to make it available for everybody because I thought it was a pretty cool concept. I mean, 300 to 20,000, that's mental. I'd never believe it unless I saw it. So I wanted to share that with you, and hopefully it helped some of you up. So again, keep nice and busy, everybody, and we'll see you next time.